So, do you really consider yourself as someone who just wanted to study but cannot start? And if he or she starts to study, what happens after 2 minutes is that he just finds himself watching reels on YouTube or Insta, and that is something which a lot of ADHD people feels and suffers with. As myself who has ADHD, I have also suffered with this whole thing and whole scenario. And the solution to this is very interesting. And in this whole video, I will be explaining how to actually work with ADHD and how you can understand your brain in a deeper manner, so you can actually implement those rules and those tips and tricks which I will be sharing with you, and you can apply those rules in your life and improve your ADHD brain in order to consume information and comprehend better. So the problem with ADHD is that you cannot sit and study for hours. That is the problem which a lot of ADHD people face. And the solution to this is not really a complicated thing. Solution is to this is a very basic thing, that you should study the thing which you find interesting first. Like, see, ADHD brain works on constant reward. Like, if I'm trying to study something, and if I'm not getting information, a valuable amount of information which my brain thinks is a very interesting thing to know, which obviously happens to a lot of people. They see there is a reason why ADHD people can just sit for hours and hours and play video games, but they cannot study for a single 10 minutes. Like, that is a very difficult task for them, and the reason being is that the brain works on constant reward. Your brain is sort of programmed for reels, and that is something which reels provide us. Like, whenever we scroll, we get some sort of a dopamine rush in our brain, and we are in a constant retrieval mood. Like, we are constantly retrieving information from that particular device, and that is a problem which a lot of people faces. And the solution to this is that there's a difference between actual information which you just comprehend and you get the amount of dopamine rush in your brain, and the second amount of information is that which is the valuable information. Whenever you just when see, what is happening is that you're just consuming this amount of information, which is just you are just consuming information in order to get that dopamine rush. That is the only thing which you are currently doing with your Instagram reels and your YouTube shorts. What I'm asking you to do is that just do the opposite of it. And it may sound difficult because you may say that, okay, I have ADHD and that is the problem which I face and I want a solution to it. I'm coming to a solution, just give me a second. I want you to do is that uh, I want to I want you to consume some interesting stuff. I'm not asking you to study some boring stuff. I'm just asking you to study the interesting stuffs and actually remember it. Like, my main point which I'm trying to make is that I don't want you to study something which you do not find interesting. In fact, if you will go well and you will try something new. If you will try something which you don't find interesting, the brain will automatically shut down and it will not let you comprehend that much amount of information. So it is a problem and it has to be overcome. So the first case scenario is that whenever you have a topic to study, just don't study from start. Study with the thing you find very interesting. Like, memory is like a tree. There is a root, there is a main point, and there are branches like this. And whenever you just start to study the point which you find interesting first, what happens is that whenever you just like you are studying this part, now what happens is that you get curious about how this whole thing works and where in the tree this whole point goes in. And just because you are curious, you start to increase your diameter. And whenever you start to increase your diameter, what happens is that you're not now studying for the exam. You're not studying for the sake of getting good number, but you are actually comprehending that much amount of information and you are going to remember it because you are curious about it. And that is the first advice which I would like to give you. Second advice which I would like to give you is that keep making notes. Don't rely on your memory. See, whenever you have ADHD, you tends to have a very low and a very less working memory, and that is something which we are naturally bad at. So I don't want you to rely on your working memory. What I want you to do is that keep continuously making notes. Now it doesn't mean that whenever you are making notes, you are just not focusing on the lecture, or whatever the teacher is saying. You are just doing what you want to do. You are just making notes. That is not the advice which I'm trying to give you. The advice is that you don't want to be out of thinking whenever the teacher is explaining something to you. So what is the problem, what is the solution to this problem, is that keep making diagrams or mind maps. And I can do a whole video on this topic, so I'm not going to explain each and everything in this in this particular video. So this video can get a long, which I don't want it to be. So the second point which I might like to make is that I don't want you to rely on your memory, because you tend to have a very bad memory. So keep making notes. It can be a mind map. It could be a pointer. If you're just getting information, I just want you to just write down a single point which a teacher explained to you in a simple and specific word. That is the only thing which I want to do. You can, if you just understand the point which you just made, which you just wrote on your copy, you will be able to comprehend, you will be able to guess what teacher told you, and remember what teacher told you in the lecture. And the third point is that I want you to use white noises while you are studying in a library, or if you are self-studying, I want you to use white noises. And there are some incredible white noises which you can use, and it removes your mental blockage, and it removes your brain thinking. Like, it happens to a lot of people that whenever they start studying, their brains start to think a lot. They are thinking something different, something not specific, like totally unrelated to the topic which they are trying to study. So to remove this thing from happening, I will be suggesting some interesting and some useful, incredibly useful white noises which will work for you for sure. I think that is up for today's video, and you will be able to comprehend what I have just said. And I hope you will make the notes from this video also, because I'm not just telling you to just get a dopamine rush. I don't want you to take this video on this side. I want you to take this video on this side, so you will be able to comprehend the information which I just shared, and able to know and remember and utilize the facts which I just said. Thanks for watching. That's for today. Bye.